Hi everyone and welcome. In this video we are going to talk about 3 useful tools to improve your Path of Exile gameplay. Keep in mind those are not made by GGG, so use them at your own risk. They are quite well known and tolerated in the community, and I still have to hear someone having any trouble with them. So those tools are Awakened PoE Trade, Exilence Next, and Better Trade. So let's start with Awakened PoE Trade. This tool is basically trade macro with some extra function. So let me bring up the settings right here. The installation process is really simple. I have a link in the description. You can download and install it. And then every time you play Path of Exile or when you need these tools, you just double click the icon and launch it. So once you open it, it goes down into a minimized icon in the bottom right of your screen. You can open it and change some settings. The main feature of this tool and the reason I'm using it is the price check function. So the default settings are Ctrl-D for auto hide mode and Ctrl-Alt-D for open without auto hide. Let me show it to you. You have Ctrl and D, it pops up the screen. It does a price check of the item you Ctrl-D in, and it shows you the suggested value and shows you the listed items in order of price. So here you can click this button right here and it opens the trade search on PoE Trade. Let me show you. Here you see. If you do the price check on a non-currency item, it will show you all the affixes and the rolls. For the rolls, it goes down 10% from your roll. If you click on the number, you can change it. You can select which affix to search for. Like in the currency, if you click here, you can open an external website and it shows you the trade on the Path of Exile website with all your filters right here. The difference between auto hide mode and without auto hide is that when you go out of the screen I showed you, it auto hides the tool, so you are going back to the normal game, like this. Without the auto hide, it stays there until you click out. Another cool feature is the overlay with shift space. It opens up a little menu with some extra function. Here by default we have map rolling, which is a little menu you can use to paste search terms. So with edit you can modify or add more search text. And you can use them for everything, not only for maps. Next one is dump sorting. This was made before the currency tabs and all that new tabs, and it's just search texts for the currency. The last one is the cool one in my opinion. It's just an image view. By default there is the betrayal image one, but you can also add I don't know, the delve one for fossils, the haste one. By edit you can choose file and you can add whatever you want. Back to the settings, then we have open item on wiki. It's just a shortcut to open the wiki with the item you click in. Map check is an interesting function. I'm not really using it, but if you go to the maps right here, you can assign determine stats to a symbol, and when you do the map check command, it checks that rolls, and based on the symbols you assign, it gives you the overall symbol. And with this tool, for example, if you can't do reflect damage, you can just do like this. Your build can do reflect elemental damage, the rest you can roll it. If you do like this, when you check the map, if it has the monster reflect elemental damage, it pops up a red symbol. Otherwise, it goes with a green symbol and you can run it safely. Next one, we have open base item on Craft of Exile. If you don't know, Craft of Exile is a super useful website for learn how to craft things. You can add a shortcut like for the wiki. you can open the base item of that website. Delve grid is just an overlay grid that you can use for Delve to helping you see better where you're going. Next function are just chat commands. You can assign hotkeys to determine chat commands. You can fully modify this. You can add commands. Then we have standard general setting. I won't mess with that. Here in the price check tab, you can change the stat value when you do a price check. So when you do a price check on an item, it shows you minus 10% of the value. You can change that value here. And the minimum buyout price, which is the threshold to show you items above this value here. And this is a weekend PoE Trade. The feature I'm using the most is the price check. The other ones I don't really use them that much. The price check is really useful. If you have an item, you need to understand how much is worth. You just, with one click, really, Ctrl D, you have a precise idea on how much is worth. And at first it may be a little bit confusing, but play around with some stats, with some modifier. You will learn very quickly how to use it. So now let's move on. With a weekend PoE Trade, we can check the price of a single item. What if we want to check the price of a whole tab? Here's when Exilence Next come to help us. So it looks like a very confusing software, but actually it's not that confusing. So the first time you're launching it, there is a little tutorial that tells you how to configure it to grab data from your Path of Exile profile. It's really simple, and if you have trouble grabbing the session ID, I also have a document in my description that tells you how to do it. Once everything is ready, you should see an empty screen similar to this one. So from here you have profile 1 up here, and by clicking this menu you can choose your profile. You can create a new profile by pressing the plus here. And while creating a new profile, you can choose the name, the pricing link, in my case is Expedition, the league Expedition. You can choose up to 10 stash tabs. So for example, let me pick my currency tab. If you want, you can choose a character to include the inventory or the equipment. You can click Fetch Snapshot to get a snapshot of your current stash. Up here you have the net worth of the selected tabs, the hourly income, the snapshot you took. Then here you have two graphs, the net worth chart over a period of time. The tab breakdown chart, it shows you a line for every tab you selected. So here I have 4 tabs, there are 4 lines. It's not showing up because I just created this profile, and I still have to add something on the tabs. Under the charts, there are a recap of each item on the selected tab. You can also search for a specific item, and it shows you the item and the quantity, the total value, the price. If you have to modify a profile, you can just click the settings here, and you can modify the profile. If you go to the software settings, here you can activate the auto snapshotting, so it fetches a snapshot every set interval. I usually do it manual every time. And also you can select the price setting, so you can set a threshold which under that threshold the items are not displayed by the software. You can do the same thing for the stack items. For example, if you put a price threshold of 10 chaos, it only shows you items that are worth 10 chaos or more. This is my Essence Stash tab. It shows only items worth 10 chaos or more. The total price threshold, which is for the stacked items, if I put this 10C as well, now it shows me also the stacked items worth 10 chaos or more, even if the single item is worth less than 10 chaos. You see, for example, this essence is worth 5 chaos, but I have 3, this stack is more than 10 chaos, so it shows up. I usually change these according to the farming strategy I'm implementing. So I'm not going into more detail on this one, I just wanted to touch the main feature of the software and how I use it. So let's move on to the last one. This is called Better Trading and is an extension for Firefox and Chrome. So the Firefox extension has been deprecated and won't be receiving future updates. It will be updated on Chrome. Currently, it's still working on Firefox. What is Better Trade? Basically, it saves your PoE Trade searches and organizes them into folders, which can be shared to other people. So let me show you. I can create a new folder. I can assign an icon, save it, it creates the folder. I can register my current trade, which is a convoking wand. +2 wand. Okay, and every time I'm going on PoE Trade, this is saved, I can click it, and it brings up the saved search. I can also trigger the live search from here, copy the URL to my clipboard, mark the trade as complete, save the active trade on the old one, edit the name or delete the trade. To share a folder, you just click here, export share, it gives you a code. You can copy the code, import the folder. Here it is, the folder. So with this little tool, you can really organize the items for your build. Let me show you an example. I'm doing a Stone Golemancer build, and here I've added all the items, budget version, expensive version. I can just click them, search for it. I can modify my filters if I need to, and once I have everything I need, I bought the item, I can mark as complete, and then I know I already have this one. So let me know if you want a dedicated video for PoE Trade and how to search items. But let me tell you, this extension has changed my life. So now every time I don't have to type many filters to search the item I was looking for 2 days ago. I can just save it and click it, and that's all. And that's really it. It's very simple yet very powerful. And again, those tools are very powerful to improve your knowledge on the game. This game is very confusing. It has a lot of stuff and you really need all the help you can get to learn and improve. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any question, if you want me to go into the detail on a topic discussed here, let me know in the comment. Thank you again for watching. See you in the next video and stay safe, Exile.